Good morning.
We are still missing a few here.
Wendy, could you make me a co-host again, please?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's really weird. I've seen a couple of oddities this morning, but yeah, I
Okay.
can't change Samantha's
Commissioner
name.
Ballard and
Let me do
Commissioner
that right now.
Conway.
There you go.
Thank you.
Should be going right now.
Commissioner Conway and Commissioner Ballard. Have you seen anybody heard from them? Are they going to make it?
I would assume so. They've gotten all the emails and they have responded to them as well. So they got 2 more minutes. You never know.
Well, if they don't show up, send them a carrier pigeon to remind them.
Yeah. A raven, smoke signal.
Mhm. One thing about presenting the agenda there
Yes.
for us ancient people like myself, or semi-ancient, uh, if I have to put, always have a hard time seeing it. I have 3 other screens, so I have it blown up on there, but I don't suspect other people would necessarily have that. And there, now it's much more visible. It's
Yes.
just
I will just make a point, Chairman Thorwall, that when I present the screen, I'll zoom in a little bit more for folks. So thank you
That
for
would be
thank you
perfect.
for
Yeah.
letting me know. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I have the same problem.
you think we should call it's 10 o'clock. Should we give Commissioner Conway and Commissioner Ballard a quick call? They're usually never, especially Commissioner Ballard's never late.
Would you like me to call Jim real quick? I can get his number real quick.
Please do.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just see if there's any emails from them saying that they're having issues or problems or something. So hold on one quick second. I will check. I don't have any phone calls, so nope.
Could you just give Commissioner Conway a ring quickly?
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Jim,
Oh.
meeting is now.
Oh, we see him.
Yeah, I had a little trouble logging into to Zoom, but I got it.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Conway, are you with us? Wendy, could you reach out to Commissioner Conway and see
Yes,
Pretty
I will
please.
work. I will work on that as long as Angela's got things going. So, all right.
we can wait a few moments?
Jim
Okay.
called me once, I think 2 o'clock after 10, 2 minutes after 10. So I've now evened the score 1-1.
That's fine. No, I had to put in the meeting code and the password and that kind
Oh,
of stuff.
really?
I don't usually have to do that.
Yeah.
When we
Do-
have this is Wendy Floyd. When we have these special meetings, sometimes
Mhm.
that happens. So, I do apologize for that, but at least you guys got in, so that's good.
No problem.
Is Rick going to be with us today?
They
Zeiss, the AAGs?
were both sent the invite. I'm working on the phone number for Mr. Conway right now.
Yeah, we should have somebody from the AAG's office.
Um, Attorney General Rick Zeiss is showing as being on the call.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Excellent. Good morning, Rick Zeiss, Assistant Attorney General, online. There should be also a Taylor Parmenter here shortly. I'm sorry, I get confused with which of the screens I'm supposed to up and how I'm supposed to enter the meeting. So thank you for your patience.
Not a problem. We're missing one commissioner too, so we're waiting on that as well. So your timing was good. When is your last day, Mr. Zeiss?
May 16th, two weeks from today. So we're in the middle of transferring all my work to other attorneys. And this will probably be, we thought the last meeting was my last oil and gas. This will probably be my last oil and gas meeting.
Well,
Unless, unless
we
there's
could-
an emergency that comes up in the next 2 weeks.
We could have a couple more special ones just to have a party for you.
Thank you.
I'll give it a couple more minutes maximum, and if Commissioner Conway is not on, we'll get started.
Chairman Thorwald, Commissioner Conway is having to call in, so he's going through the steps for calling.
Okay.
Because he is in a different area, so he's going to be trying here in the next minute to call in, and if not, then he won't be able to join.
Okay.
It looks like we have somebody who just joined. It might be him.
Commissioner Conway, is that you? If it is, we can't hear you. Who just joined?
Actually, he's calling me right now. I'll be right back.
Okay. Administrator Roberts, will Tina be joining us today?
Let me. Thorwald, it is Tina LePage. I'm already on. Thank you.
Didn't see you there.
That happens.
Welcome.
Chairman Thorthwell, that was Commissioner Conway. For whatever reason, Zoom is not letting him in. It's asking for additional information that we don't have. So he's going to try one more time, and then he will send his regrets, and he apologizes if he can't get it to work.
Okay.
But I've given him all the information I have on my end, and for whatever reason, it's not working. So he does
Okay.
apologize for not being by his computer and able to come in the other way.
That's
Technical.
frustrating when you're trying to get in with it like that.
Yeah, and I did verify he had all the right stuff. So
Well, let's go ahead and get started then.
yeah, because we do have a quorum.
Yep, it's 10:08 a.m. We're getting started a little bit late today, some technical issues. This is the Arizona Oil and Gas Conservation Commission special meeting on Friday, May 2nd, again at 10 a.m., 10:08 a.m., and this meeting is called to order. Roll call to establish a quorum. Frank Thorwald, I am here. Commissioner Nations, are you here?
I'm here.
Commissioner Fire Robin, are you here?
Here,
Commissioner Conway, are you here? If Commissioner Conway joins us, please let us know. Commissioner Ballard, are you here?
Here.
Good. And we have a representative from the Land Department. David Haig, are you here? I saw David earlier. Okay, great. And we have our AAG representative, Rick Zeiss, with us.
Good morning, all.
Good. Does anybody have a conflict of interest? Hearing no conflicts of interest, let's move on to our first order of business. Our second order of business, the 2A, discussion and possible vote on legislation. Second. Legislation regarding the storage of carbon dioxide and geologic structures. Did everybody have the opportunity to review that draft from the Interstate Oil and Gas Compact?
yes.
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 What are your thoughts on that? What changes do you think, or recommendations to the AZOGCC for changes do you suggest? More clarifications, anything?
This is Commissioner Nations. I have two suggestions.
Go right ahead, Commissioner Nations.
Now, it's shown here what you're showing now. My addition, section 1.2-7E, pore space, the words or intergranular space in a reservoir should be added.
Okay.
Yeah, that suggests only cavities and caverns, when intergranular space is the most common, most important.
Fantastic. Thank you, Commissioner. Is there anything else you suggest?
I'd add one other one, and I don't know if this is important, but will you show it now? The criteria should be established for determining the vertical and horizontal boundaries. It just says the current issues says just that commissions would establish that. It doesn't specify how they would establish what the boundaries are. Now, I don't know if it's appropriate to put that in here or not, but
Commissioner, that was done generally so that the states could do that and rule as they wanted to.
I assumed that, but that also assumes every commission has that knowledge. Which
Yes.
we do assume that. Okay, I'll retract that statement then.
Okay. Commissioners, who else has comments on this? Your thoughts, please. I'd like to run through everybody to at least get your verbal feedback that you have or don't have your thoughts on this? Commissioner Fire Robin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, didn't we send those in? We're talking on that now, right? What we sent in thoughts on?
Yes, this is Wendy Flood, Commissioner Fryland. Your notes are on the screen.
Can
Oh,
you
okay.
elaborate those and talk about them?
Sure, just a minute. Let me go up here. I've got it pulled up in a separate window on my computer. Yeah, I thought at the very start that greenhouse gas emissions, to me, the word emissions is a little bit, could be something different than just background atmospheric carbon dioxide. So I don't want to eliminate emissions because maybe you want to hook up a power plant and recapture direct, but maybe also you wanted to capture carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So I just put a little comment on there. Oh yeah, so it kind of, part of it is at the start refers to pipelines, but then pipelines are not mentioned further on. Now maybe pipelines are covered in other state regulations and you want to refer to that. I just point out that the kind of the introduction, it talks about pipelines, but then that gets dropped and there's no more talk about that. And then you go down on 1.2 definitions. And I mean, it's just a thought. D is oil or gas. Then it says oil, comma, natural gas, comma, or gas condensate. I don't know if it'd make any difference, but there can be other things, like helium, argon in a gas phase. So maybe you could put and other blah, blah, something like that. I don't know, it's important. So I kind of brought up pipelines again further down.
I will make those recommendations along with Dale's to the IOGCC.
Yeah,
So
and then I think, I'm just sorry, I'm just scrolling down at the moment.
I'll after everybody goes through it, I'll ask if we all agree with these recommendations, and if we
Yeah.
do, then those are the ones that I will make to the IOGCC. So
Okay, and then my last one is at the very bottom at 1.34,
Mhm.
agricultural land and topsoil restoration. We talk about agricultural land, but I mean, I'm mineral exploration, so we never hardly ever do that in agricultural land, but we have to, if we have a project out on BLM or Forest Service land that is not agricultural, you have to rehabilitate it. And I just made a point on that because, we're not guaranteed all these facilities will be on agricultural land. But I think, like everything, you should cover the rehabilitation after you're done. And that was my only point at the very tail end.
Okay,
That's it for me.
Commissioner, do you
Commissioner
have any?
Thorwald, this is
Yes.
Wendy Flood. We also have comments from Mr. Ballard as well too. Whenever
Yeah.
you're ready.
Go ahead, Commissioner Ballard.
Well, if you want to scroll up to the top, I'm afraid I gave you 2 pages. I just got carried away, I guess. And we can go through them, but as a general comment, I thought that some of these sections are going to end up being very different in Arizona legislation. Even the model kind of refers to that individual states will do this and individual states will do that. So I gave up kind of on a word by word, editing. And so some of my comments are really edits and some of them are more general. The first one is I kind of suggest they omit under, subchapter A, the top section 1.1 A2. This is where they discuss the importance of CO2.
Mhm.
And I think it kind of sets a strange tone. It almost suggests that they're going to sequester CO2 for later use. And I think it's mostly from a political point of view. It just sounds kind of strange. I think it's going to alienate people who don't think that CO2 has net value in all areas. Just almost a feel good or bad kind of reaction to something that's not really necessary, because the legislation doesn't talk about removing sequestered CO2. And I think I picked up not on in section 1.2. This is a section of definitions, the definition of carbon dioxide that they want to use in the legislation. I think the same point Bill made. You're going to have both, waste CO2, or what we call, anthropologically generated, and you're going to have natural CO2 that's going to end up in sequestered gas. Even if you, of course, if you pull it from the open air capture, but even if you got it off of a flue of a power plant or something, there's going to be natural carbon dioxide in there. And also it makes a really strange reference to purity and quality of CO2 being potentially dangerous. I don't even know where that comes from, but I wouldn't put it here in a definition if that sounds like an important topic, if it's going to be brought up. I don't know of dangerous conditions of injecting CO2. Maybe there are some, but I don't think I'd just stick it in a definition if you're going to discuss that. Under subchapter B, this is just this comes from Arizona. I suggest not using the word recordation. That was like one of the worst that I saw. Arizona has a whole manual on simplifying language in legislation, and that's the kind of thing that's supposed to go. But that's kind of a nitpicky point. Subchapter B, same section 1.11A2 is really kind of important. They discuss the criteria for initiating the permitting process. And they use a phrase that a good effort has been made to obtain acreage. And so that actually suggests that you don't have to have acreage in order to obtain a permit. That's not something I think we would do in Arizona, but at any rate, I would just go ahead and substitute that the operator has obtained. You really have to have acreage to go through a permitting process, in my opinion. Yeah, and in section 1.12, it's just for clarity. They're talking about the things that have to be done. And of course, it's including the establishment of appropriate and sufficient financial assurance. I just suggested, just for clarity, to add from the operator. That's where it's going to come from. It's not going to come from someplace else, I don't think. In section 1.15, this was just a little wording error. They talk about basically when the project gets to a point where you're no longer injecting CO2, you're going into a monitoring phase. But they use cessation of sequestration operations kind of in a way that you really should be referring to injection of carbon dioxide, because the program's not over. It was just in this section referring to that point where you go from one phase to the other. Down in section 1.17, they're talking about a conflicts resolution procedure. If an operator of a sequestration project thinks somebody else is operating a well in a way that would damage them or something. I mean, but then it's a little unclear that the state regulatory agency should be the location of the complaint. If they think something's going on, hopefully before they do it, it will get into the state regulatory agency, and if appropriate, the state regulatory agency will correct the action of the other operation if it's called for. Yeah, no more detail is needed. They kind of considered them talking together. It doesn't sound like a very good idea. Section 1.18. Actually, I got carried away here. I actually rewrote this section, and I won't read it here just because it's a area I have a lot of familiarity with. Basically, everybody knows that deep injection can cause earthquakes. And nobody really likes that. So one of the things you want to do is kind of establish the fact that you can locate earthquakes reliably in the area of sequestration. And I must mention that most of the situations that I visualize sequestration are not the kind of deep, high pressure injection that has been known to cause earthquakes. But anyway, yeah, you should be able to detect earthquakes. The one thing they go on in their own regulations about how you're supposed to have certain kinds of monitors and all these kind of details. In truth, most earthquakes can already be detected throughout the state of Arizona of any substantial size. You might want to add a station, but you might not even have to. Because the other thing that's unclear is that they suggest, and I guess this is the way Texas is going, a local magnitude threshold for when things are serious. In other words, a really tiny earthquake is not probably serious, but there's some level that obviously people take notice, and then of course, if it's big enough to cause any damage, then people are not happy at all. So you pick this threshold, and they did it in a very convoluted way. They didn't really just directly say what it is, size of an earthquake, which is going to cause regulatory actions, basically. So I simplified this. If they have any interest in adopting language, that's fine. I think that's the way it was written before, was too technically detailed and kind of circular. It's probably, it's up to them, of course, if they want to substitute this language. Section 1.19, it was just a little phrase that I think it was a result of editing. It didn't make sense how they were writing it. And then subchapter C, section 1.21, I gave up with the editing and rewriting because I think it's flawed, but I'm not really sure that it's not enough just to kind of say these things, because it's the kind of thing that would probably be changed, like I say, if it actually become Arizona legislation. They talk about compulsory unitization like that's the normal path. They don't point out that voluntary unitization, it should come first. In Arizona, it has to come first by the statute. And then if people can't get along and make a good unit agreement, the commission has jurisdiction and authority to come in and try and make it work or get it to work. So I just think that's, it's this way it reads like it's going to be some very kind of hostile process. It shouldn't start out that way, but it also isn't clear that they're going into compulsory unitization for the benefit of the majority of proposed unit members. That's clear in Arizona statutes. You don't have the tail wag the dog. If you have 75 or 80% of potential unit ownership wants to do a unit and, needs to kind of leverage to get everybody else to agree, that's kind of what it's for. It's not for if you have 10 or 20% of the unit and you want to force the entire rest of the potential participants into an agreement. That's pretty clear in Arizona statutes. It's not clear in this model. So that's some specifics. I got to the point where I knew that there were going to probably be some changes, but if this is a model legislation, I mean, I like, of course, the general thrust of getting sequestration set up, who owns the pore space, some of the practicalities. That's all in here, so it's a fine model, and I'd vote for it as being the model, as long as and I'm sure everybody understands this is going to be revised and changed at the state by state level, and the things that I had brought up would probably just appropriately to do at that stage.
Thank you. Commissioner Conway, did you join us? Not hearing that. Commissioners, what's been discussed? What are your thoughts on what Commissioner Nation, which each of you have brought forward?
This is Fire Robin. I got a comment on Commissioner Ballard's point about earthquakes. I kind of read that and I agree with him bringing it up. It's kind of my view, because as a geologist, I'm kind of always interested when I see news about earthquakes here and there, that there's kind of a good global network of earthquake monitoring points already set up, U.S. Geological Survey and others. So I wonder if you could just simplify that and go to a threshold as determined by independent monitoring organizations or whatever. That would be my thought.
Well, and I certainly agree. This is Commissioner Ballard. You can go on the USGS website and see all significant earthquakes that have happened in Arizona for the last 24 hours every day. It's only if you talk about very small earthquakes that you would need to have some kind of additional coverage for. And I think my thinking is that the threshold would be something like a magnitude 3, and because that's big enough to cause some eyes to open and some concerns. Smaller than that, you can pretty much argue a natural cause for an earthquake anywhere in Arizona, anyway, in the western states, not other parts of the country. So I agree. And the whole thing is supposed to be kind of optional. If the state agency thinks that more earthquake stations are needed, then they can require it. But the part about the threshold event is kind of new. And like I said, I think it's coming from states that have experienced, a significantly larger earthquake that got them in the news and, just was an obvious problem. And I think they're just trying to pull in some of that mechanism so that it'll trigger a red flag and regulatory things will be done.
We normally don't do this, but David Haig from the Land Department, do you have any comments in this?
No, I don't. On pore space, if you're going down too deep, you might include fractures as a definition, a part of the definition of pore space as well.
Any other thoughts on any of the other things that have been said?
No, everything else sounds good.
Okay, great. Commissioners, other than that, do you all feel what's been brought up is something that we as a whole can recommend to the AZOGCC?
This is Commissioner Nations. Yes, I think that's very thorough, our review. So I would recommend that we accept this model legislation and support it, or whatever words you want to use, as modified by this commission.
Okay, that sounds good. Let me put this in two parts. One, I'd like to see us have a vote that we suggest these changes to the AZOGCC. And then the second vote that I would like to see us do is, in general terms, given what we've got here, recommending to the governor that they go ahead and move forward with this type of thing in Arizona once the AZOGCC has finalized it. Would that be something that we could all, how does everybody feel about those ideas?
Yeah, I would support those as you stated them.
Do I have a motion for the first one to recommend this to the AZOGCC? Put together.
This is Commissioner Nations. I so move.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Aye, Robbins, second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Do we have a motion to recommend to the governor that the state move forward with this plan in general terms once barring any major changes from the AZOGCC?
Yes, as Commissioner Ballard, I will so move.
Okay,
Aye, Robbins, second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Commissioner Thorwald, before we have a vote on this, can we have a little more of a description of the basis of the motion? Because you
Okay.
talked and then Commissioner Nations just picked it up. If we could have a better statement of what you're voting on, please.
Okay, well, I'll qualify it in this way. Commissioner Nations, what I had asked was that we recommend, do we want to recommend that this geological sequestration of carbon dioxide as presented by the Interstate Oil and Gas Compact, along with the modifications or suggestions we've added here, be recommended to the governor that the state move forward in the legislative process to make this happen. Is that what you're saying in your motion?
Yes, this is Commissioner Nations. Kind of lost me there, but I think you've stated it very well. So I so move or stand corrected or whatever
Modified.
on that motion.
And is that second modified to understand that, to clarify that?
Yeah, fire up, and I'll second the modification.
Okay, let's vote again on that. All in favor of that, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Then let's move on to item C on the agenda. The discussion and possible vote with regard to the previously discussed list of orphan wells and plugging activities. I assume Administrator Roberts that Tina will be talking about this, or will you be just going over this?
I guess we hadn't decided, but Tina is here to talk about it. I will add that there have been wells that were removed after review by Proton Green. So there were 2 wells that were removed from the list. And then there are also, I believe, 3 other wells after further review with the orphan well program were also removed. And if Wendy, if you can show that list, we have it at the bottom.
And what were the reasons for removing the wells?
The reason for removing the other wells was that after further review, it was decided they were on a different list that had shown that they were not up for renewal because there was more information needed.
Okay.
Can I make a comment here?
Please, Commissioner Fire
Fire oven, yeah, okay, great. If you look at the list, the operator, there's a couple of them are listed as Duval. I'm sure that's Duval Mining. You know, they've got a company that had a couple of big copper porphyries back in the 70s. Mining companies had lots of money and got into oil and gas. And if you look up Duval, it's now a subsidiary of Pennzoil. So I wonder if the obligation for those drill holes should go to Pennzoil. And then you'll see down at the bottom a hole Kinder Morgan, and the same comment.
The Kinder Morgan well is removed. Those are the removed wells.
Okay. And I don't know about Duval, except I would suspect that it was Duval Mining that has been acquired by Pennzoil. And so maybe the obligation has gone on to Pennzoil.
Commissioner Chairman Thorwald, this is Tina LePage. So
Please.
this is the preliminary list that we put together to maximize time in plugging and abandoning the wells. There may be, when we go to look at these wells, we're going to look more into potential viable or operators that don't want these wells plugged and abandoned. But right now, to get things moving as fast as possible, because this grant ends on December 31st, we're trying to speed up things. So before we would abandon any of the Duval wells or any of the other wells, we would still do a comprehensive liability search and see through our corporation commission and our software that we have to see if there is a party that is still responsible. So,
Okay,
yeah.
very good. Have you filed for that 1 year extension that we can still get?
We have not yet.
Is that still in the possible range of possibility?
It is possible, yes.
Commissioners, we put this in abeyance at our last meeting with the modifications, the removal of those 5 wells, and what staff has just told us. Do we want to go ahead and vote to remove this from abeyance and move this forward?
Well, this is Commissioner Ballard, Chairman, Mr. Chairman. I do have an additional proposal. I can see that the point of this process is, of course, to expedite things, to get things moving faster, and the time necessary to go through the entire commission for every form is just kind of tedious and probably delay the efficiency of the program. I'm not sure exactly how it would work, but I'm actually proposing that the commission give me the job of reviewing all the Form 9s and 10s for the remaining orphan well project. And if there's any little changes, of course, work with the oil and gas administrator and all the other staff members that are involved. I can offer same day turnaround of a Form 9, probably a couple of days if you send me 10. So, I mean, I'm trying to have the commission help on the technical side some and not slow you guys down. I'm not sure exactly how it would work out if we still need to, pre-approve the wells, then maybe it's just a separate exercise, but it's what I recommend.
Zeiss, is that something that is even appropriate that we can do? If I just want to find out the legal perspective before we even talk about it.
My suggestion, Commissioner Ballard, I really appreciate your conscientious review of these. My suggestion is you can either vote today to approve the list subject to Commissioner Ballard's subsequent approval or assistance in turning around Form 9s and 10s. Or that's issue 1. Issue 1 is leave it in abeyance. Issue 2 is approve and move forward. Or option 3 is approve the list as stated and include within it that Commissioner Ballard shall be part of the process of approval. I'm not sure of the exact language. I will leave that to commissioners. It's up to the commission how they wish to move forward.
Okay, let me make a suggestion then. Let's just go ahead and approve the list as is, if that's acceptable to all the commissioners. And note that Commissioner Ballard will, if work with Tina LePage and the Administrator Roberts and other staff members to help expedite this moving forward. Is that an acceptable way of putting it?
I believe it is. It's up to the commission to determine, but from a legal perspective, yes.
Okay. Commissioners, do I have a motion? I'm going to do, I'll just put that into, that's my motion. Do I have a second?
Fire Robbins, second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries and we move forward.
Thank you, Commissioner Thorwald.
Is there anybody in the public that would like to address the commission? Moving forward to 3 on the agenda. Hearing none, let us move on to items for request for future agenda items. Before we do, I apologize. Let me go back to the IOGCC and the governor's staff. Could you put together something in a little different format that you sent out to the commissioners saying these are the commission's suggestions to the IOGCC, so I can email them. We can email them to them for the meeting later this month. And
Chairman?
a letter to,
Thorwald,
yes, go ahead.
sorry, what format would you like them in? I was going to ask that. I apologize.
Oh, no, just something that lists, we don't need to have each commissioner, that the commission suggests the following changes to the geology and sequestration of carbon dioxide document.
Okay, so you're okay if it's in another, it's in a Word format and just compiles all of the comments together?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then the other thing would be an email to the governor that the commission recommends this.
Okay, thank you.
Now, going back on to items for a future agenda, item 4 on our agenda today. Is there anything anybody would like to recommend that we have on the future agenda items?
Commissioner Thorwald, this is Wendy's letter. You talking in regards to a meeting that's set for June.
Yes.
Okay, just want to make.
Or even
make
any
it
other
clear.
future meeting after that, for that matter.
Chairman Thorwald,
Yes.
I would like to request clarification on your request to contact the USGS and ask them to attend a meeting. What was the specific ask?
The specific ask, and they could attend, or it was not just attend, or it was either attend or to provide information with regard to the geology of Arizona, what the potential is for development of the geology here in Arizona related to the oil and gas areas that we cover in the state. And with that in mind, to give you an example of that, I was at a conference put on by the USGS, and it was talking about naturally occurring geologic hydrogen in the state and in other states. And they listed Arizona as one of the states that they felt that was in, and the potential for development of that. So those types of things.
Okay, thank you.
This is Commissioner Nations.
Go ahead, Commissioner Nations.
I'm a little puzzled about that. I like the idea of having the USGS do that, but that seems like it's just another look at what I was going to do, which I don't mind at all letting them do it.
Well, no, I think there's a combination. You're an expert in this area for the state, but I don't know if you did. You probably did, but about the development of hydrogen in the state and the resources of that. That's new research they're doing and new projects, from what I was told.
I've written some speculation about it, but I have no scientific basis for my comments.
Okay. And they do, from what they said, they have a whole department at this point that's dealing with that nationally. So that was why I wanted to get a little broader spectrum of things that.
Well, I would like to have them do it rather than me try to present information that's not available to me.
Well, again, we don't even know if they will or can yet. They've had some staffing issues, so let's just see where we can and have these discussions with staff as we move forward, if that's acceptable with you.
All right.
Anything else with regard to future agenda items? Hearing none, how about moving on to agenda item 5? Is there any announcements? I'll say this one last time. Good luck, Mr. Zeiss, in your future, and we will miss you. And welcome aboard, Taylor.
Thank you, Commissioner Thorwald.
Hearing nothing, no other announcements, let's move on to agenda item 6, adjournment. It is now 10:48 a.m. and on Friday, May 2nd, and this meeting of the Arizona Oil and Gas Conservation Commission is concluded. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck, Rick.
Mhm.